Hello and welcome to Pokemon Lair. My name is TD and today we're unboxing another box of 10 Pokemon cards that I sent to Professional Sports Authority over 18 months ago, and I got them back, and now we're going to open this box and see what we got. They come packaged in this nice box with great packaging to keep them safe and sound through the mail. So let's open this box and see what grades I got. I'm electrified to show you a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, a Holo First Edition, the number 11 card. Looking at this Raichu, you can see that the front surface looks really clean. You can see that the holographics have no issues. In fact, in the video, you can see some of the reflection off the light. Our centering looks really good from top to bottom and side to side. I think it's within spec. Looking at our corners and our edges, I don't see any issues with them that can affect the grade. As we continue to the back, you can see that the surface is nice and clean. I don't see any creases, damage, or stains. Our centering looks really good from top to bottom. From left to right, I think it's slightly to the left. It might be within spec. Looking at our corners and our edges, I see some slight damage on the two right corners and the lower left corner. And with slight corner damage, that's going to give us a grade of mint 9. And that's pretty common with that type of damage on the corners. As we look at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Blaine's Charmeleon, a first edition number 31 card. The front graphics of this Charmeleon look really good and clean. I don't see any issues with them. Our corners and our edges are nice and crisp. There's no damage there. Our centering looks really good from top to bottom and side to side. As we flip this card over and look at the back, you can see that the surface is nice and is pretty much perfect. There's no damage to it. Our centering looks really good. I think it's within tolerance all the way around. Getting to our edges are nice and clean. And finally to our corners, we have some damage to the upper right corner and slight damage to the lower right corner. And with the slight corner damage, that's going to give us a grade of mint 9, which is pretty good. I'll take it all day long. We are looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Misty's Gyarados, a Holo First Edition number 13 card. Looking at the Gyarados holographics, it looks really nice. I like how it reflects the light. Our centering looks a little to the right, possibly out of spec. You're looking at our corners and our edges, they're nice and clean, but on our yellow border there is some slight print staining. Looking at the back, you can see that the surface of the card is in near perfect condition. Looking at our corners and our edges, they are really clean. I'm actually surprised. Looking at our centering though, our centering is off to the left, probably out of the 10 spec. And we're going to get a good grade of mint 9. I'm actually surprised by that. I thought it'd be maybe an 8. This card is a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Blaine's Rapidash, a first edition, the number 33 card. Looking at the front surface of this Rapidash card, you can see that it's clean. I don't see any issues, no blemishes. Our centering looks pretty good from top to bottom and probably within spec from side to side. Looking at our corners and our edges, I don't see any issues there. I think they're nice and crisp. Looking at the back of the card, you can see that it looks almost as good as the front. Our centering looks good from top to bottom and side to side. It's definitely within spec. Looking at our edges and our corners, our edges look good, and our corners, well, the upper right has some damage and the upper left has a speck of damage. And then we're going to receive a grade of mint 9 for old Rapidash. Man, I love the 9s. I love the 9s. We're going to look at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Rockets Zapdos, a Holo First Edition, the number 15 card. Looking at the front of this Zapdos, you can see that it's nice and clean. I don't see any damage to it. Our holographics look really good. I like the way I put the light on it. It usually shows a little bit in the video. Our corners and our edges are nice and clean and crisp. Looking at our centering, I think it's good. But finally looking on the border, there is some print staining showing through. As you turn the card over and look at the back, you can see that the surface is in great condition. Our centering is slightly to the left, possibly out of spec. And our corners and our edges look pretty good, for the edges. Our corners though, we have some little bit of damage in the lower right and possibly the lower left. And that's going to give us a grade of mint 9 for this Zapdos. I'll take it. That's a pretty good grade for a holographic. Let us look at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Box Primeape, a first edition, the number 35 card. Looking at the front surface of this Primeape, you can see that it looks really good. I don't see any damage or staining or any problems there. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and side to side, I think it's possibly within spec. And our corners or edges have no issues that can contribute to a bad grade. And as I look at the back, you can see that the surface looks really good. I don't see any damage there. Looking at our centering, it looks really good from top to bottom and side to side. I know it's definitely within spec. Looking at our corners and our edges, I see some damage to the upper right corner and possibly the lower right corner. And Brock's Primeape is going to squeak out a mint 9 for a grade. That's awesome. I like my 9s. Really, I like my 9s. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Trainer Blaine, a Holo first edition, the number 17 card. Looking at the front of this card, you can see it looks really good. The holographics are shining in the light. Our centering looks good from top to bottom and side to side. I think it's definitely within spec. And looking at our corners and our edges, I don't see any issues. I think this is really a good card. As we look at the back of the card, you can see that it looks fantastic. I think it's really clean. Our centering looks really good and definitely within spec from top to bottom and side to side. Looking at our corners and our edges are nice and clean. Looking on our corners, I had to look really close to find about 3 specks on the lower left and a speck or 2 on the upper left. And that's going to give us a grade of mint 9 for this Blaine. Man, those couple of specs cost me a 10. Let us take a look at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Box Vulpix, a first edition, the number 37 card. Looking at Vulpix here, you can see that it is a first edition and it looks good. Our graphics look fantastic. Our centering, I think, is within spec from top to bottom and left to right. It might be slightly or really close to spec going to the left, but besides that, this front looks really good. As we flip this card over and inspect the back, the major surface of the card looks really good. Our centering looks a little to the right, but it's probably within spec. But if you start looking at our edges and our corners, there's a little bit, about 90% of the way down the right side, there's a white speck on this edge, and then our right corners and our upper left corner have some damage. And with all that damage on the back, it's going to give us a grade of near mint 8. That's pretty good. I thought we were going to get a worse grade than that. I want to show you a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Koga, the trainer, a Holo first edition, the number 19 card. As you can see, the front surface of this card looks really good. You can see the holographic showing in the light. Our centering looks within tolerance from top to bottom and side to side. Our edges and our corners look really clean. And as I look at the back of this card, you can look at it and see that the main surface looks really good. Our centering is slightly to the left and it might be out of tolerance. Looking at our edges and our corners, there is some damage just about the center, just off center on both sides of the center on the upper edge, and our upper 2 corners and our lower right corner all have some damage. And the grade is going to be a mint 9 for old Koga. Wow, I thought we were going to get some worse grades with that edge damage. Wow, nice. We are looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Erica's Bulbasaur, a first edition, the number 39 card. You can't have Venusaur without Bulbasaur, and this Bulbasaur looks really good. I don't see any problems with the front of the card. Our centering looks within spec. Our edges and our corners are nice and clean. I think this is a really nice card. Inspecting the back of this card, you can see that the surface and graphics are nice and clean and vibrant. Our centering looks really good from top to bottom and left to right. I'm definitely sure it's within tolerance. Getting to our corners and our edges are nice and clean, but we do have a problem with the upper left corner that has some damage. And with that damage, we're going to get a grade of Mint 9. Man, I got a lot of 9s and I like it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video and the cards that I presented. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and remember, you got to catch them all. Have a nice day.